What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another War Within video. Hope you're all doing very, very well. We're going to look at Totemic again. We're going to revisit this and see how it's doing after the nerfs. If you have been living under a rock for this entire week, then you will have missed that there were some nerfs to lively totems and reactivity, which is there was a 50% nerf to both of the damage that comes out of the searing totem and out of the volley. They did also add in some scaling, so like these things now scale properly with like Nature's Fury, but I think the 50% damage nerf is of course going to hurt you a little bit if you're doing Totemic. However, I will say that I don't think the best way to build Totemic is to focus on Lava Lash anyway. I think it's better to build Totemic around this physical idea of just focusing on surging totems damage. Which does flame strike damage now, of course, but you can scale it with physical modifiers. So things like Legacy of the Frost Witch, things like having physical wolves out, that's going to help to scale the damage of your surging totem, and your Totemic rebound whenever you storm strike, that's going to scale the damage of your totem as well. Your Wind Fury is getting buffed on this tree. That does physical damage. Your big Sundering, you know, you're going to smash that. That does physical damage, and it's going to proc a huge physical totem. Of course, Flame Strike plays, it's a Flame Strike tremor, but it's going to scale off physical modifiers. So my thoughts with this build are to keep it the way that I've kept it before. Not a lot has really changed. I've experimented with a couple of different things. Number one, I've done a key where I went Deeply Rooted, and that key was okay. I think, though, the better way to build this, unfortunately, right now is to go Primordial Wave, because they recently buffed Primordial Wave and made it a 30-second cooldown instead of a 45-second cooldown, and the damage that comes out of this thing is just so gross. It's so good, man. Also, you get 10 Maelstrom weapon stacks, which means you're immediately proccing a Legacy, which means you're getting your physical damage amp online right away. And I think that that's really important to remember as well. You can do that. There's other ways to build it. You could obviously do Deeply Rooted. That would be the other way to build this tree. Okay. It would be like this. The other way to do it would be to take Fire Nova and then grab all these other extra little talents in here and don't do either of the sides. So now you have 2 points in Legacy, 2 points in Elemental Assault, and you get extra Maelstrom from Swirling Maelstrom. And then you have Fire Nova, which does Flame Strike damage as well. Again, that scales off of physical modifiers. Okay. And you could do a build that kind of looks like that. Now, that ends up looking like this, where you can, I'm just testing it on dummies here, but this is also pretty good. Your Fire Nova ends up contributing quite a bit. You're going to lose single target damage. That's the only issue. However, you're going to make back some of that because of Elemental Assault. That's really going to help keep the train rolling. In my testing, I do think that you're probably better off just doing a Primordial Wave version of this build. As sad as that is, the real question we want to ask is, how much damage does Totemic do versus the Storming build, the Stormbringer build? This was a plus 10 key that I ran, okay? I did 900k overall. This was with Vesperal and company. Oh, no, this was a plus 7 that we did. Sorry. We did a plus 7. By the end of the key, I had done about 900k on the Stormbringer build, okay? Stormbringer build. Now, that's pretty good. We were keeping up. We were a little bit behind Vesperal and Relentless, but, you know, the damage is good. The damage isn't bad at all. We're keeping up with everybody. That's a Stormbringer build, okay? I did another test with Totemic, of course, and this was with Primordial Wave. And by the end of this dungeon, I was doing about 800k, okay? By the very end, we had some, there was a bit of a fall off there, but just because of the way that the trash were doing. We were just under 700k, or just under 800k. Now, the reason that this is important is, remember, this was a plus 4. The one I did with Vesperal was a plus 7. So the one I did with Vesperal was also with a coordinated group of people. We were all, they were all watching the stream. We were all together. This was just me pugging a random key. So is Totemic worse than the Stormbringer build? I mean, I think it is, but again, the scaling, remember, a plus 4 is going to scale us lower than a plus 7, so my damage is automatically going to be less in a plus 4. It's really hard to pug plus 7s. Okay, I'm just trying to help explain why I did a plus 4 instead of a plus 7. It's very, very difficult to find pugs. So I think the damage is going to be less. Okay, I don't think there's any way to say that that's not true. I think Stormbringer is ahead of Totemic still by like a small margin, right? Storming used to be like here and Totemic was like here, and now Storming's here and Totemic is kind of here. I think it's really close. I think it's actually really close. And you can see the damage on an AoE pack here. This is really good. This is me with the Primordial Wave version of this build. Again, you could do a deeply rooted version that I think works quite well, but you're a little bit more dependent on RNG. Whereas with the Primordial Wave version, you get a guaranteed lightning bolt cleave, a bunch of damage. You get a haste bonus. Yes, the haste bonus from Splintered Elements did get nerfed, so that's a little bit annoying, but it's still really good. You can still end up getting like, what's 6 now, 20? You can get 34% haste if you get 6 targets with your Flame Shock, right? 34% haste is a lot. So that's every 30 seconds. And remember, one of the biggest reasons why you might want to take Primordial Wave is that your Surging Totem now scales with haste modifiers. So the amount of times that your Surging Totem will do its damage, pardon me, will scale with your haste modifier, okay? So when I have this Splintered Elements buff up here, that's buffing my haste. In this case, it's 26% more haste that I'm getting because I have 4 targets. 26% more haste, that's buffing my Surging Totem. It's ticking faster, it's doing more damage. And if I have a Legacy of the Frost Switch buff as well, that's buffing the damage of the totem by 25%. And then my dogs are buffing the damage of the totem by another 20%. So we're giving all of these buffs to our Surging Totem, on top of the fact that obviously the Primordial Wave stuff just does a lot of damage. So this is why I like the Primordial Wave version, I think, the best. For Totemic, I think it's the best way to build it. It's not just that the lightning bolts that cleave do a lot of damage, it's that you're getting these buffs, and they're all buffing the real damage in your kit, which is the Surging Totem. That is your biggest DPS button that you get to press, okay? And I just think you kind of put these buffs all on top of it, and it makes it do way more damage. It's ticking way faster, doing a lot more damage. So I like that a lot. Is it better than the Stormbringer build? I think it's really close now. Honestly, I swear I've done a lot of testing. I'm going to do more on stream today. If you want to check it out, twitch.tv/ZukoVibes. But like the pack-to-pack damage, in my opinion, is really close, okay? We're still doing a lot of pack-to-pack damage. There's no denying that. I think if you get a little bit of RNG on your Tempest procs, like, you know how there's the Awakening Storms capstone node on the Stormbringer tree that has a chance to give you a Tempest if you proc it enough times? Like, if you're getting decent RNG on your deeply rooted procs and on your Tempest procs, then I think you're going to end up doing a lot of damage, and you're going to do a little bit more than Totemic. That being said, Totemic has a really fun, simple playstyle as well, where you're just stacking all these modifiers one on top of the other. Physical Wolves, Legacy of the Frost Switch, Primordial Wave haste buff, Bloodlust. You just like pile all these things on top. Maybe you could find a trinket that gives you like agility or mastery or something. You pile it all on top and you just go for it, and you have these really fun burst windows every 24 to 30 seconds, right? Primordial Wave is a 30-second cooldown now. Your totem is a 24-second cooldown. It's really fun, and it does give you that consistent damage output every single time. Here's the double damage boss fight. We're going to get Bloodlust here. Right now, we're kind of just chilling. We're doing underneath the tank's damage, but that's okay. We're above the tank now. We're going to start scaling up a little bit here. This is a tough fight for melee, to be honest, but we're going to make do with what it is, and we're trying to collect these orbs. Once we get the Bloodlust haste window, it's coming up right here. We're going to start to do a lot of damage. So you always want to wait until after the fear. Unfortunately, the mage popped Bloodlust before the fear. Don't do that, okay? So he pops Bloodlust like right here. I just want to do a really quick tip. This guy's doing Repulsive Visage, okay? He's going to fear you in like 2 seconds. And then you're going to be feared for like 3 seconds. So don't pop Bloodlust right now, which is the mage pop time warp, unfortunate. Okay, we're in the double damage phase here. I dropped my totem. I have Doom Winds. I have Primordial Wave. I have everything. So I have a Legacy proc that just went off, okay? I have a haste bonus from Splintered Elements. My dogs are going to be out in a second, and we'll have all the buffs stacking together. Here comes my dogs. Now, my totem is doing maximum damage right now, and it's just going to start pumping. And I just really like that. I think it's fun. I think it's pretty fun, actually. It's a lot less RNG reliant. Like, the Stormbringer build is quite RNG reliant, and as you play it more, you'll start to understand, like, how to mitigate some of the RNG. Like, you just have to press lightning bolt and chain lightning over and over and over again to try and trigger those awakening storms to get another tempest proc. And once you start getting in the groove of that for the Stormbringer build, it becomes really strong. This has really no RNG. It's like, you know, the order of events. You do your dogs, you primordial wave, you spread it around, you press lightning bolt, you drop your totem, and your totem starts doing a lot of physical damage. There's just a lot less RNG in that way, and I like that a lot. I appreciate that about this build. It also has permanent uptime. Every pack, you'll have a totem. Every pack, you'll have primordial wave. So, like, it just... And every pack, you'll have your dogs. Every pack, you'll have sundering. Like, it just has that consistency. And I do appreciate that, and I think lots of people do appreciate that. So, if you're hoping to play a Totemic build, and you're like, Zuko, is it troll for me to play Totemic? I really want to play it. I like the totem. I think it's a fun design. No, it's not troll. You're not going to troll your team. Look at the damage that I'm doing on every single one of these packs. It's competitive. I promise you, the build is competitive. It's just going to be about learning the rotation, figuring out if you want to do a deeply rooted style where it's more RNG based, or if you want to do the primordial wave style where you're buffing your totem with speed and you're getting the big cleaving lightning bolts. It's up to you. I actually think both builds work. I think the primordial wave build has a slight edge. I think it's a little bit better, but I think they can both work. As you scale your haste into the later parts of the expansion, it's really going to be up in the air which build is better. But this build is competitive. I promise you, like, every pack, every single pack, we're doing competitive damage. Okay, again, this is a +4. If we were doing up to a +10, the damage would be higher. I've done it on a +10 and the damage has been higher. So I promise you it is going to be okay that way. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I do think that there's a good build here. I think it works. I think it does good damage versus the Stormbringer build, particularly with the buffs and the nerfs that have come in. They're a lot more even keel. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I really do enjoy this. I think this tree has got a lot of fun going on. Unfortunately, the lava lash side of things did get heavily nerfed recently. So I think if you just steer away from that and go towards the Storm Strike side, go towards the physical side where you're buffing Wind Fury and Storm Strike and you're buffing Surging Totem, it's going to end up looking really good. And in this mist that I did, obviously the damage fell off at the end there. I understand that. But our Surging Totem was our highest damage. Then we have Wind Fury attack. That's because Doom Winds is a 1-minute cooldown as well. That has significantly buffed Totemic, in my opinion, that you can get Doom Winds out every minute instead of every minute and a half. You're getting those Wind Fury procs. Remember, you're buffing your Wind Fury damage with Imbuement Mastery. So that's really good as well. Storm Strike does a lot of damage. I was actually taking crashing, converging storms, sorry, to see if I could make my Storm Strike do more damage, because again, Storm Strike is the other physical part of your kit. It actually performed pretty well. And then Primordial Wave, making those lightning bolts cleave, doing a ton of damage as well. So I like it a lot. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you so much again for watching. I will continue to cover more shaman stuff. I will see you in the next one.